General Hospital spoilers for Tuesday, April 22 reveal that Carly is standing at a dangerous crossroads, where the line between loyalty and betrayal grows increasingly thin. For years, she and Jason have been seen as an unbreakable alliance, two individuals bound tightly together, facing all dangers side by side, maintaining the balance of Port Charles through unwavering trust in one another. But now, a silent shift is happening within Carly, one that could unravel everything. Carly is no longer the woman who acts purely on emotional instinct, she's becoming someone who calculates every move. And in this new strategy, Jason is no longer her top priority. Her recent actions suggest she's willing to break rules she once swore never to touch. She no longer looks at Jason as a loyal companion, but through a lens of analysis and doubt. Everything began to change when Brennan arrived, a new force, cold, dangerous, yet undeniably magnetic, powerful, and full of promises that could tempt anyone seeking to reclaim their position in Port Charles. Carly, still scarred by old wounds and driven by a desire to regain control and influence, has begun leaning toward Brennan, not out of trust, but because she believes she can manipulate the game if she plays her cards right. Meanwhile, Jason continues to put his full trust in Carly. He watches over her, protecting her from unseen threats, silently sacrificing without expecting anything in return. He believes the bond they share is deep enough to overcome any challenge. But in that silence, Carly is preparing to stab him in the back with a decision that could shift the entire landscape. Secret meetings with Brennan. Withheld information, all of it paints a slow-blooming picture of betrayal that Jason has yet to see. But when it all comes to light, the blow will strike not only his plans but also his heart. The new narrative Carly is crafting isn't just about a shift in personal perspective, it's a preparation for a shadowy transfer of power. With Brennan, Carly sees a chance to rise to the top again, not through trust, but through strength, manipulation, and compromise. But that very choice is leading her toward dangerous territory, where Jason may no longer be someone she can rely on, but a rival, once he learns the truth. And that truth, once revealed, could destroy not only their relationship but also the remnants of an alliance once thought unbreakable. To the outside world, Carly may still appear as the strong, decisive woman protecting her family. But beneath that facade lies a heart torn between ambition and emotion, a Carly slowly losing herself in the very game she once mastered. And Jason, should the betrayal come to light, won't just lose an ally, he'll lose the one person he trusted unconditionally. A new war is coming. But this time, the backstabber may be the very person Jason once fought so hard to protect. And when the mask falls, there'll be no room left for excuses, only consequences no one can escape. Lucky, meanwhile, is about to face one of the toughest challenges of his life, a difficult, emotionally charged confrontation with Christina. He knows there's no way to avoid the truth weighing on his conscience. Christina was behind the car accident that seriously injured Liz, and now he's the only one who knows it. But the truth is rarely easy to reveal, especially when it could destroy the very relationships he's worked so hard to protect. And so, Lucky is caught in a storm of psychological conflict, between duty, affection, and his instinct to shield everyone from the painful reality. Tension builds as Christina remains unaware that Lucky knows everything. He watches her, notices the silent guilt in her eyes every time Liz's name is mentioned. But what complicates everything is the deep guilt Lucky feels toward himself. He believes he's weak for not telling Liz, the woman he once loved, the truth, while she bears the brunt of the accident's consequences. Lucky knows that if Liz finds out Christina caused the accident, her world will collapse, not just from physical pain, but from betrayal, panic, and potentially a wave of fury that could destroy everything. One of the wildest aspects of this storyline is that Lucky, though not the direct cause of the tragedy, now holds the power to decide who suffers, who lives a lie, and who gets punished. He didn't cause the crash, but staying silent makes him complicit. Speaking up could cost him both Liz and Christina, two women he loves in very different ways. Meanwhile, Christina lives in fear. She has no idea Lucky knows. Every time they meet, She tries to act calm, but her hands always tremble slightly. She knows the truth won't stay buried forever. She's waiting for the day Lucky confronts her. But what she doesn't expect is that Lucky isn't ready. And that makes everything even more dangerous. Lucky's hesitation isn't just compassion, it's a ticking time bomb. The longer he waits, the worse the explosion will be. His storyline, once defined by integrity and protection, is now shifting. He's no longer sure what's right or wrong. He's stuck in a gray zone, where every option comes at a heavy price. His silence isn't cowardice, it's a desperate hope to find the least painful path. But in Port Charles, such paths rarely exist. The upcoming conversation with Christina won't just be a personal confrontation, it's a pivotal turn for the entire plot. It will define who Lucky becomes. The brave truth-teller or the man buried in lies in the name of protection. And as viewers hold their breath, one thing is clear, a storm is coming, and no one, not Lucky, not Liz, not Christina, will escape the fallout from the choices they make. Trina is having an emotional and deeply introspective conversation with Curtis, someone who's not just a source of comfort, but a mirror reflecting her own internal struggles. In the quiet space between them, Trina opens up about what's really going on inside her. Especially regarding Kai, who is becoming the center of a wave of emotional and fateful changes. The conversation between Trina and Curtis isn't just heart-to-heart, it signals one of the most important narrative shifts in the storyline, where emotion, responsibility, and personal choices intertwine like a maze with no clear exit. Trina feels mounting pressure as she watches Kai rise, not just in his personal life, but also in his growing influence with those around him. He's gaining special attention, not only from the community but also from powerful individuals, an expansion that leaves Trina unsure whether to feel proud or fearful. She senses she's being drawn into a whirlwind she can't control, where genuine feelings are being tested by unspoken tensions. In that moment, Curtis listens, not as a man who's made mistakes, but as someone who understands the pain of choosing between heart and reason. The emotional explosion looming in this storyline won't come from shocking twists or dramatic secrets, but from something far more human, transformation. Kai is becoming a symbol of replacement, someone capable of reshaping the stable connections in Trina's life. As he gains more opportunities and builds new relationships, Trina is left questioning whether she still plays a meaningful role in his journey, or if she's being slowly replaced by a new environment, new people, a new future where she may no longer belong. Curtis senses it all. And though he's been through his own share of storms, he knows changes like these don't come out of nowhere. They're signs of a coming earthquake, quiet, but profound. What frightens Trina most isn't that Kai might change, but that she feels herself changing too. She's no longer the girl who was sure of her heart, who once believed love was enough. And Curtis, with all his life experience, knows this is the crossroads where every relationship faces its real test. He doesn't offer advice or quick fixes. He just sits there, silently, giving Trina space to hear her own thoughts, to realize she's nearing one of the biggest decisions of her life. And that realization, that a powerful change is stirring inside Trina, is the true explosion. Not the loud crash of chaos, but the quiet shift of a heart in motion. An emotional undercurrent is beginning to swell, pulling with it the relationships, beliefs, and choices Trina must soon confront. And when it erupts, Port Charles will never be the same again. Jason is stepping into a pivotal moment, one where he must take firm, assertive action like never before. What's happening around Willow is no longer just minor family disruption, it's become a chain of serious complications, where her growing lack of control could lead to unpredictable consequences. Willow, once a symbol of calm and gentleness, is now spiraling into emotional chaos, and Jason can no longer stand by. From Jason's perspective, the root cause of this unraveling is Drew, someone once seen as an ally, who has now become a shadow looming over Willow. Drew doesn't need power or force to control her. Instead, he manipulates her through emotional closeness, sweet but calculated advice, and by making her believe she is weak and needs his guidance. Jason sees it more clearly than anyone, and that's why he can't remain a passive observer. He's planning a new course of action, a direct, unambiguous, and, if necessary, forceful intervention to pull Willow out of this toxic entanglement. Right now, Willow doesn't realize she's being controlled. Her recent instability, rash decisions, emotional outbursts, even unusual reactions toward loved ones, are signs that she's losing herself. And Jason, who once knew Willow at her strongest, knows this isn't who she truly is. He doesn't just want to rescue her from Drew, he wants to bring her back to herself. This situation is pushing Jason to act with rare urgency and determination. No longer the silent watcher in the shadows, Jason is stepping into the light with a strategic plan, to reach Willow, help her see the reality hidden beneath Drew's honeyed words. And subtly, but effectively, isolate Drew's influence. This isn't about jealousy or revenge. It's the action of a man who refuses to sit by while someone he cares about is slowly consumed by someone else's false display of care. What's remarkable is that Jason isn't just relying on his physical strength, but his strategic mind, usually reserved for covert missions. He's calculating every step, choosing the right moment, deciding whom to trust, and identifying hidden threats. In doing so, he begins reclaiming influence, not to control Willow, but to help her regain control over herself. And this, one of Jason's newest and most calculated moves, is not just about saving a woman. It's a declaration that he remains a silent but steadfast pillar in the chaotic world of Port Charles. His actions are more powerful than ever because this time, he's not fighting an obvious enemy, but a threat from within. From someone who was once a friend, once trusted, but who is now slowly manipulating and taking hold of someone else's soul. Jason knows that if he doesn't act, Willow could lose the freedom of her own thoughts. And if that happens, not only will she suffer, but everyone who loves her will be pulled into the storm of consequences born from her misled choices. That's why this time, Jason won't hesitate. The battle he faces isn't fought with bullets, but with clarity, loyalty, and genuine care, the only thing strong enough to break through the facade Drew has built. The game has begun. And this time, Jason won't back down. Kai is being swept into a violent whirlwind he's not emotionally prepared for. Once a boy battling a serious illness, suspended between life and death, Kai has now unintentionally become the center of a complex power game orchestrated by the adults quietly vying for control behind the scenes in Port Charles. While Kai simply hopes for a chance to live, a glimmer of hope to remain in the lives of those he loves, Drew sees in Kai's fragile condition an opportunity to serve his own ambitions. What seemed like a sincere conversation between an experienced adult and a boy in need of guidance quickly became a carefully crafted manipulation. Drew doesn't give direct orders or threats, but every word, every look, carries hidden intent, slowly guiding Kai into a state of mental conflict and vulnerability. Kai begins to feel he no longer owns his decisions. Questions like, does Curtis really want what's best for me, or, what is Portia hiding from me, begin surfacing in his mind, not from natural doubt, but from Drew's deliberate planting of mistrust. Drew doesn't just want to isolate Kai from Curtis and Portia, his plan goes deeper. He wants to shatter the trust that holds the key relationships of Port Charles together. If Kai, whom Curtis and Portia care for like their own, starts to question their love and intentions, it could be the hardest blow yet to the image of family they're trying to protect. And once that family foundation is cracked, Drew can step in, rewire the dynamics, and build a new web of influence, one of unseen power that no one anticipates. The danger here is that Kai, with his gentle nature and vulnerable heart, is exactly the kind of person most easily exploited in situations like this. He's not calculating, has no defenses, no strategies. He's just a young man trying to understand the world and hold on to hope, while surrounded by people with hidden motives. Facing Drew, a master at exploiting others' emotional weak spots, Kai begins to lose his footing. He's no longer sure if the dangerous surgery is truly for his benefit or something he's being pushed into by others' expectations. And when Kai can no longer distinguish who genuinely cares and who's using him, he's at risk of going down a wrong path. Curtis and Portia, who have poured their hearts into caring for Kai, have no idea they're being turned into targets. They believe their love is genuine, their choice is sound. But Drew's manipulation paints that love as controlling and overbearing. He portrays Curtis as stubborn and Portia as a doctor who puts protocol above emotion. And Kai, in his confusion and fear for his life, is slowly drawn to the one offering false comfort, even if that comfort hides darker intentions. What's even more dangerous is the shift in Kai, from a frail patient to the catalyst of a domino effect in Port Charles. He's now the critical knot in a web of storylines. The one everyone's betting on. If Kai loses faith in Curtis and Portia, their relationship could crumble. If he follows Drew's lead and walks away from those who saved him, it would mark Drew's first major victory in his quest to seize control. Jason, who has been quietly observing Drew, may begin to see that Drew is no longer just a changing friend, but a true strategic adversary, willing to do anything to control the most vulnerable. And when Jason realizes that Kai is becoming a pawn in Drew's manipulation, he won't be able to stay silent. A new wave of conflict could erupt, from Jason versus Drew, Curtis versus his allies, Portia versus her own moral code. Kai, unintentionally, is becoming the spark. And when he makes the final decision about his surgery, whether to proceed or refuse, it won't just be a medical choice. It will fire the opening shot in a hidden war between trust and betrayal, protection and manipulation, life and power. Port Charles is about to change. And a fragile boy is becoming the center of a storm larger than he could ever imagine.